失礼。
切っといてくださいよ。
早速のご連絡ありがとうございます。
お前に聞かれてから思い出したんだがよ。
聞いてくれよグラントリノ。昨日変な夢見てさ。
夢？
そいつが私を見て言うんだよ。まだその時ではないと。
ありがとうございます先生。まだその時ではないということはいつかはやってくるということ。
緑谷君たちのフォーメーション第4セットの爆豪君たちと似てるな。
ただ次郎係
はーい、索敵係ね。
がいない分
緑谷が爆豪以上の働きをしなきゃだね。来た
モノマ君。
爆豪君の活躍を見た後で君を警戒しないわけがない。その一方でクレバーな人間はこうも考え、さっきの彼の強さは他の3人によって引き出された。先に潰すべきはその3人だと。
煽ってくるな。
困ったな。
柳さんの個性を。
なんかくっついた。アシッドって柳さんのポルターガイスト。解除。
ツインインパクトファイヤ
ー。彼の友人なら教えてよ。爆豪君さ。なぜ彼は平然と笑ってられるんだ。ヴィランに捕まって平和の象徴を終わらせた張本人がさ。
なんだ。
逃げて。逃げて。痛い。
アイザー君、ブラド止めた方がいい。
落ち着け。
止められない。
何を問う。また戦えるって楽しみにしてたんだぜ。緑谷、俺と戦おうぜ。
また
違うんだよ。
ピンと痛くなかった？なんともない。
浦永さん、傷が。
解除。
ファイヤー。
肝心なのは心を制することさ。
玉がいっぱいいっぱいだ。
あと少し。さあどうした。
目の前にラスボスがいるんだもの。
緑谷。
僕だけが知ってるんだ。オールマイトはおそらく限界を超えてしまっている。
何よりノームの敵。
ホーリーシットだ。早く。
僕だけが知ってるピンチ。
緑谷。
オールマイトから離れろ。この手は
来たか。
今回は失敗だったけど、今度は殺すぞオールマイト。
スタート。
ちょっと と今回俺にうってつけすぎる。おお緑よ、なんだその動き。うってつけすぎる。修行に
すごい。ぴょんぴょん、なんかまるで
俺の動き。落ち着けいける、落ち着け。常に 5%。
緑よ、飛んでんの？
骨折克服かよ。常に緊張と冷静を保って
フィニッシュ。
緑谷君大丈夫か。
学ぶことは多い。
ありえんぞ少年。
頼むから止まってくれ。
私の愛が足りなかった。
エントリーサンドイッチ。幾重にも重ねるのは好みじゃない。諦めろと言われて諦められるほど軽くはない。
そこまで分かっててなんで文化祭だ。
それはもうそういうもんだろう。
笑い方を知らない女の子の笑顔も奪えるのか。
まだだ。
暴力を好まないシントルが。
芯がないと嘲笑うがいい。私は
力が強くなっていく。
愛してるわ。
同じだジェントル。僕だけの夢じゃない。笑わないでいてくれた、認めてくれたみんなに未来を、明るい未来を示せる人間になりたい。
この日のために組んだパソコンとプログラム、セキュリティを解読して侵入できる。もっと近づかなければ。
恥も外聞も流儀も捨てて君を断つ。
いや
シュートスタイルスマッシュ。
ジェントル、ヒーローがすぐそこまで。離してやろう。離せ。何が明るい未来よ。私のジェントルを奪わないで。
Hey Eri, hold on. I understand her power's effects now. One for all, full Cowling! 100%! Eri, will you please lend me your power?
She is mine! A naive little boy like you doesn't know how to use her! It's up to me to cure humanity! Why doesn't anybody see the big picture? You're all blinded by some outdated sense of what's right. You're just pretending to be heroes. I won't let you stand in my way!
If I can't save Eri, then how can I call myself a hero who saves everybody? That's who I'm gonna be!
Izuku Midoriya's abilities from My Hero Academia. Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku, is the main protagonist of the My Hero Academia manga and anime series. Even though Izuku was born quirkless, he manages to catch the attention of the legendary hero All Might due to his innate heroism and a strong sense of justice, and has since become his close pupil, as well as a student in Class 1A at UA High School. All Might passed on his transferable quirk to Izuku, making him the 9th holder of One For All. Following the Paranormal Liberation War with Tamura Shigaraki and All For One actively targeting Izuku for his quirk, he decides to leave UA before finishing his first year to keep his classmates out of harm's way. After encouragement from his friends, he later returns to UA. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video we're going over Izuku Midoriya's abilities. Overall abilities. Izuku's greatest asset prior to receiving his quirk was his vast knowledge of fundamental hero skills and tactics. Izuku studied pro heroes for years and is able to apply that knowledge during crisis situations in a practical manner. His immense bravery and desire to become a hero were also important factors in giving him the mentality to protect others. Before gaining his quirk from All Might, he took on the Sludge villain and rescued Katsuki because of his boldness and application of heroic skills, something that deeply impressed the #1 hero. Upon training with All Might, Izuku inherited One For All from him and was granted the ability to harness a stockpile of powerful energy. He can move faster than the eye can see and take down an enormous villain bot in a single punch, but the physical backlash at the time prevented Izuku from being able to fight properly or compete with his peers on an even playing field. Even so, he still possessed impressive physical durability, and his drive allowed him to withstand the drawbacks of One For All for the most part. Despite the intense drawbacks of One For All, Izuku's wits provide him with ways to use One For All that is still effective in battle. He also retains his ability to act instinctively based on his notes and possesses basic hand-to-hand combat knowledge. By applying those correctly, Izuku is able to fight toe-to-toe with even the strongest students of Class 1A, such as Katsuki and Shoto. Under the tutelage of Gran Torino, Izuku acquired more control over One For All, leading to the creation of One For All Full Cowl, a technique that would eventually become a key component of his fighting style. With Izuku gaining greatly enhanced maneuverability, strength, and a significant reduction in the physical backlash created when using his quirk uncontrollably, he was able to drastically improve his overall fighting capabilities. His newly attained abilities garnered praise from Gran Torino, who noted that Izuku was on a higher level than he was compared to at the sports festival. As Izuku's mastery over his quirk improves, so do his practical skills. Also, when his skills and experience increase, so does his confidence, which is said to be a source of inspiration to his classmates as well. His body, however, still remains relatively vulnerable to One For All's drawbacks, which gives Izuku a disadvantage against enemies like Muscular or Overhaul, whose quirks were proven to be too powerful against One For All's weaker outputs, forcing scenarios where Izuku had to sacrifice his body in order to go all out. In order to protect his own body, particularly his arms, Izuku eventually develops his own unique fighting style, diverging himself further from All Might's. Currently, Izuku is acknowledged by his classmates as a strong, reliable leading figure, with both his strength and intelligence being respected equally. However, Izuku's quirk is still an enigma for them, including Izuku himself, which makes him an unpredictable ally for better or for worse. As Izuku keeps growing, so does One For All, and with the prospect of having new abilities unlocked in the future, Izuku has to work even harder in order to fully dominate the quirk that was passed on to him. By the time of the Paranormal Liberation War, Izuku's skills have grown exponentially to the point that he's able to fight alongside exceptional pro heroes, such as Eraserhead, Gran Torino, and even the current #1 pro hero, Endeavor. But his biggest feat thus far is holding his own against the Grand Commander of the Liberation Front, Tamura Shigaraki, who is powered by All For One and a modified body with strength comparable to All Might, and forcing the all-powerful villain on the defensive despite the latter easily overpowering the top pro heroes. Trained muscles. Usage of One For All requires the user to have strong muscles, as One For All is a lot to handle and could cause the user's body to be blown apart if they don't possess the necessary bodily strength. Having been trained by All Might for 10 months in order to get his body physically ready to inherit One For All, Izuku gained a muscular physique that lets him perform at parameters higher than that of an average student outside UA's hero course. During the quirk apprehension test, he demonstrated a grip strength of 56 kilograms and the ability to run the 50-meter dash in 7.02 seconds. He has since become much stronger after more training. Immense stamina. Izuku has shown on many occasions that he is capable of handling large amounts of pain. Such times were mostly side effects of overusing his quirk and frequently led to various broken bones. Izuku is able to avoid these repercussions by staying in a safe range of One For All power output. Currently this is around 45%. Should he be forced to output more power, Izuku is still capable of fighting decently, even with broken limbs, thanks to the effects of adrenaline, but will succumb to exhaustion a while later. He also has to be very wary of his arms, which have grown damaged due to his repeated injuries and could eventually stop working altogether if he doesn't restrain himself. After multiple months of hard work and training with the #1 pro hero Endeavor, Izuku has become much sturdier and more resilient when it comes to the drawbacks of his quirk. Izuku is now shown to be capable of operating for days on end without eating or sleeping, going across Japan and fighting multiple villains. Immense strength. Even without his quirk, Izuku has shown high levels of physical strength for a person his age. During his training with All Might, who weighs 255 kilograms or 562 pounds, he was shown to be able to lift him on his back while walking. During the sports festival, he could lift a slab of metal roughly the size of his body and wield it as an effective weapon to cleave a one-point bot in two. When using One For All, his strength further increases to superhuman levels. At 15%, he could lift several vehicles in the air with the aid of Black Whip. At 30%, he can lift a bus full of people one-handed and run fast enough to evade Tamura's decay and restrain the enhanced Tamura with aid from Black Whip and his anger. During the Tartarus Escapees arc, Izuku's strength increases even further, and he can now use 45% as his regular output with no backlash. Using 45%, he could defeat a weakened muscular with a single punch when he was unsuccessful before, easily collapse a building while fighting his classmates, and even managed to break out of Fumikage Tokoyami's Ragnarok, shocking his friends. At 100%, Izuku's strength rises to the level of All Might, allowing him to commit astonishing feats. He could easily destroy a massive villain bot with a single punch, annihilate a 12-story building, create torrents of wind pressure with a flick of his fingers, and create a massive explosion with a single punch. Immense speed. Izuku possesses great reflexes with and without Full Cowl. He can react in time to defend from Shoto's ice, which is shown to occur in the literal blink of an eye, and can keep up with Katsuki's movements in their first fight. When using Full Cowl, his reflexes and movement speed elevate to higher levels. At 5%, he can keep up with Tenya's Reciprocal Burst, which can move faster than the eye can see. At 20%, he can outpace Overhaul, and at 30%, he can keep up with the enhanced Tamura's speed. At 45%, he was capable of keeping up with Lady Nagant's bullet and was even capable of dodging several of her shots, as well as keeping up with Muscular's movements, which he previously could not follow. With his full 100%, Izuku was capable of moving several times faster than Lady Nagant's sniper bullet and reached Overhaul before the bullet did.
Do I give a fuck? No, not one. How many fucks do I give? Zero. Exactly, so therefore your comment is irrelevant.
Ability. Izuku has shown the ability to withstand explosions from Katsuki without One For All, and with 5% he's taken building-sized explosions from Katsuki and attacks from Muscular. At 30% of his power, he's withstood blows from the enhanced Tamura, who is said to have power rivaling All Might himself. At 45%, he withstood being shot by Lady Nagant and even managed to survive a massive explosion triggered by All For One. Keen intellect. Izuku was proven to be exceptionally intelligent on many occasions, displaying both keen observation and analysis as well as adept intuition and resourcefulness. His grades are among the highest of his class, showing that his One For All training rarely interferes with his studying. Izuku is a quick learner, which has helped him figure out most of One For All's mechanisms in a short span of time and work around its limitations. While some of his moves have been directly inspired by All Might, if not outright copied, the majority of Izuku's moves and techniques were all conceived by him during sudden sparks of inspiration, proof of his creativity. Izuku also has extensive knowledge of pro heroes, his classmates, and their quirks, taking notes of them in great detail in his hero analysis for the future. This is the fruit of excellent observational skills coupled with his own desires in becoming a hero by learning from the best, meaning that Izuku always has a natural interest in expanding his knowledge further and further. He's an exceptional strategist and tactician. By combining his aforementioned quick learning and knowledge about quirks, Izuku is able to devise plans that take advantage of his friend's abilities to the fullest. Izuku's calculations have been crucial at several moments of his school life, allowing him to earn victories like the battle trial, escape dangerous situations, the USJ incident, and save lives, the Vanguard Action Squad invasion and Camino incident. His intelligence is greatly respected by everyone in Class 1A, as many of his peers look up to him for planning and follow his strategies to the bottom line. Even Momoya Yorozu, the smartest student in the class, has looked up to Izuku as a reference. Adaptability. Thanks to his analytical abilities, Izuku was able to replicate the techniques of others. For example, after training with Gran Torino and gaining minor mastery of One For All, Izuku was able to duplicate Katsuki's moves during a training exercise. After training and drawing inspiration from his classmate, Tsuyu Asui, Izuku has become proficient enough with Black Whip to generate a dark tendril from his tongue, allowing him to replicate her Froppy-style combat. Leadership skills. As a natural consequence of his bravery and strategic mindset, Izuku has displayed incredible leadership skills on various occasions. By the start of his UA life, Izuku had already earned the trust of Ochaku Uraraka and Tenya, thanks to his actions in the UA entrance exam, which was enough to allow him to be voted class representative early on, having relinquished the position to Tenya shortly after. Tsuyu and Minoru Mineta also placed their faith on Izuku during the USJ incident, following his instructions with little hesitation. By the time of the first term final exam, he had already fought alongside Katsuki and Shoto, who were in his class alongside Katsuki and Shoto, who were previously antagonistic to him. Izuku might not be aware of this, but he is one of the main motivators within his class alongside Katsuki, thanks to a combination of his heroic drive and practical intellect. One for All. Transferred to him from Toshinori Yagi, Izuku's quirk allows him to stockpile an enormous amount of raw power, allowing him to significantly enhance all of his physical abilities to a superhuman level. This results in unbelievable levels of strength, speed, stamina, agility, and durability. Izuku can focus these stockpiled power into a single body part, or spread it across his entire body evenly, though focusing the power in a single part puts a greater strain on that part of his body. He is also able to control what percentage of his full power that he uses. He is currently able to handle 45% of his full power without breaking his bones, with 30% being his normal output. The quirk factors of the previous power holders have merged with the core of One For All and have drastically increased in strength since. This grants Izuku the ability to access and utilize the quirks of the previous holders of One For All. He can even use more than one of these assimilated quirks at a time, granting him even more options, and quirks within One For All are Unknown Quirk, the quirk of the second user. The name and abilities of this quirk have not yet been revealed. Fa Jin, the quirk of the third user. This quirk allows Izuku to build up and store kinetic energy as he moves. He can later release this stored energy as an explosive burst of speed and power. Danger Sense, the quirk of the fourth user, Hikage Shinomori. This quirk allows Izuku to detect threats in the surrounding area. The detection causes a stabbing sensation in his head, and it takes Black Whip, the quirk of the fifth user, Daigoro Banjo. This quirk allows Izuku to generate tendrils of black energy from his body that are good for grappling. It is useful for grabbing things from long distances, as well as increasing Izuku's mobility. Smokescreen, the quirk of the sixth user, N. This quirk allows Izuku to generate a thick cloud of smoke. This smoke can cover a very wide area and obscure people's vision. Float, the quirk of the seventh user, Nana Shimura. This quirk allows Izuku to suspend himself in midair. Izuku also has access to a subconscious realm where vestiges of the consciousnesses of the previous One For All holders dwell. These vestiges can trigger Izuku to activate One For All without any conscious input from himself, as seen when he was under the control of Hitoshi's brainwashing quirk, and illusory shadows of these echoes appeared in his vision. Izuku currently has little to no control over this aspect of One For All, being unable to freely enter or exit, his body not being fully materialized, which limits his movement within the realm, and only being able to talk through muffled sounds since his mouth has not been fully manifested yet. However, Izuku has reached the point where he can freely communicate with the vestiges of the previous users while still conscious. Izuku is the first holder of One For All known to have gained access to this realm while still alive. Super moves. Detroit Smash, the same as All Might's move, except Izuku does it in the form of an uppercut or a straightforward punch. Delaware Smash. Izuku flicks his finger to create a powerful wind pressure shockwave that is enough force to break large chunks of ice made by Shoto. Due to using this attack at 100%, it fractures the finger, limiting the time he can use the move without gravely injuring himself up to 10 times. United States of Smash. Originally used by All Might, Izuku performs the move the same as All Might by throwing an extremely powerful lunging punch and smashing the opponent into the ground, causing massive collateral damage comparable to a nuclear device. One For All, Full Cowl. Through his training with Gran Torino, Izuku was able to unlock this stage of his power and get better control of his quirk. This technique allows Izuku to utilize a percentage of the full power of One For All throughout his body, by letting the power course and flow through him instead of concentrating it in one location. According to Izuku, this technique gives him greater maneuverability. Activating this technique gives him enhanced strength, speed, mobility, and agility. It also prevents him from breaking his bones when attacking, The cost of using this technique reduces the damage of how much his attacks do, since instead of centering the power into certain areas, Izuku spreads it throughout his body. He has been steadily improving the upper limits of the percentage of One For All that he could safely use with this technique since its creation. Izuku's initial limits at the time of creating this technique only allowed him to utilize 5% of the maximum output. During Izuku's fight against Katsuki after the Provisional Hero License exam, he further improved this limit to 8%. Since his battle with Overhaul, Izuku was capable of using 20% without breaking his bones. At the start of Izuku's internship with Endeavor, he described his percentage limitations to be in the interval of 10 to 15% of his full power without any extraneous load, and also had stated that he could use 20% but not without causing immense pain that would majorly hinder his mobility in battle. By the start of the Paranormal Liberation War arc, Izuku improved his limit to 30% with the extraneous usage limit of 45% of his full power. 5% Detroit Smash. Izuku activates One For All Full Cowl at 5%, then jumps into the air and delivers an enhanced downward punch to the opponent. He has also used this move in the form of a straight forward-facing punch. Double Detroit Smash. Izuku and All Might combine their Detroit Smashes into a single devastating charge. They performed this final attack against Wolfram, shattering through a humongous chunk of metal and causing a huge explosion that destroyed Izuku's full gauntlet. Delaware Smash Air Force. Izuku used his upgraded gloves that Mei made for him to direct a blast of compressed air against his foe, possessing enough concussive force to stun Gentle Criminal while he was in midair, giving Izuku an opening to catch up to him. By using all 5 fingers, he can launch up to 4 Delaware Smashes simultaneously. It requires 20% of his power to use it effectively using One For All. 100% Detroit Smash. This move involves Izuku activating One For All at 100% in his arm and then striking his target with a lunging punch. 1,000,000% Delaware Detroit Smash. This move is the strongest smash move in Izuku's arsenal, which involves him activating One For All at 100% during an adrenaline rush, and then striking his opponent with a full swing attack. When performing the move, Izuku uses a full-handed Delaware Smash, then delivers a devastating Detroit Smash. During the climax of his battle with Muscular, Izuku managed to overpower and launch his augmented opponent with enough force to create an impact crater in a solid rock with this strike alone, thus defeating the villain. Texas Smash. Izuku throws a punch in order to create wind pressure in order to blow objects and people away. This move is first used to critically damage Tamura during the Paranormal Liberation War. Wyoming Smash. Izuku draws out 100% of his power into his arms, then proceeds to strike his opponent on the head, creating a powerful shockwave as a result. This technique was first used against Tamura during the war on the Paranormal Liberation Front. One For All Full Cowl Shoot Style. While using One For All Full Cowl, Izuku creates a fighting style that focuses more on kicking. Izuku concentrates One For All Full Cowl's effects in his torso and legs rather than his arms, allowing him to put out even more power due to the fact that human leg muscles are naturally stronger than the human arm muscles, granting him enough power and stability, and allowing him to step away from the shackles of having to imitate All Might. Shoot Style St. Louis Smash. While using Shoot Style, Izuku leaps into the air and delivers a roundhouse kick to the opponent's face. Izuku used this move to incapacitate Gentle Criminal, who had been empowered by La Brava's Lover Mode quirk to match Izuku's use of One For All Full Cowl at 8% of its power. One For All Full Cowl 20%. Izuku uses 20% of One For All's full power and distributes it throughout his body, giving him even greater power and speed boost. Manchester Smash. Izuku leaps into the air and flips forward to bring down an axe kick upon his opponent. Although Kai Shisaki managed to evade it, the attack itself pulverized the ground thoroughly enough that Kai wasn't able to completely retaliate with his Overhaul quirk. One For All Full Cowl 100%. Izuku activates One For All to its fullest extent throughout Full Cowl, granting him a tremendous boost in speed and strength that not only rivaled that of All Might, but allowed Izuku to easily overwhelm the likes of Kai Chisaki. This was first used against Kai Chisaki to protect Eri. The power increase seemingly gives him fire-like trails coming from his eyes and light-colored hair. He can currently only use it infinitely with no damage done to his body while in physical contact with Eri. Since Eri has the ability to rewind the state of a person's body, any damage done to Izuku's body by using One For All at 100% would continually be undone by Eri's quirk, which proved useful in his fight with Overhaul. Froppy Style. Using Black Whip, he shoots a tendril out of his mouth and uses it like Tsuyu does with her tongue. Full Blast. Using Smokescreen, he activates it at maximum force to unleash a large amount of smoke instantly. Pinpoint Focus. Using Black Whip, he quickly shoots a tendril at a specific target to attack them. Foe 100%, Manchester Smash. Izuku activates Foe 100% and lands an axe kick on his opponent at blinding speed.